With the rise of the New Order came a whole host of doctrinal changes in military mentality as the focus shifted from fighting an intergalactic war to policing star systems and subjugating small rebel cells. The Galactic Empire attempted to distance itself from the image of the Galactic Republic in many ways, from dissolving the Senate to painting the ships in a flat gray rather than the red that symbolized the Republic diplomatic immunity. They also phased out ships like the ARC 170, Y-Wing, LAAT gunship, and Venator-class Star Destroyer for newer, more terrifying designs that were more in line with the Tarkin doctrine. However, many of these famous Imperial vehicles were actually designed by the Galactic Republic and used during the Clone Wars. So on this special episode of Warships, we break down 10 Imperial vehicles you may not know were designed by the Republic. Now I know this is a Warships video, but I decided to throw in a few ground vehicles as well because some were just too well known not to include on this list. Now for some criteria. First, this will be a Canon and Legends video. Some of these vehicles have different backstories between the two continuities, but as long as it was designed or used by the Republic in one of them, it's fair game. Secondly, the vehicle has to be an Imperial vehicle. That is, a vehicle known to be used by the Galactic Empire during its reign. This does not include remnant factions, such as the First Order in canon or the Imperial Remnant in Legends, though these vehicles can be used by these factions later in their history, as long as they were used by the Galactic Empire during the era right after the Clone Wars or during the Galactic Civil War. I will be including it. Also, this video focuses on vehicles that are most closely associated with the Galactic Empire. So the Venator, Arquitans, ARC 170, ATTE, and V-Wing will not be included, as they are usually associated with the Republic, despite also being used by the Empire. Finally, there will be no Rebel vehicles, nor will there be any vehicles designed by the CIS. That will be another video entirely. So, without further ado, here are 10 Imperial vehicles designed by the Galactic Republic. Number 1. The Death Star in canon. Though technically designed by the Confederacy of Independent Systems, the plans for the DS-1 orbital battle station, also known as the Death Star, began construction under the rule of the Galactic Republic. The plans fell into Republic hands and were given to the Strategic Advisory Cell, which included Lieutenant Commander Orson Krennic. The Republic began construction over the conquered world of Geonosis. With the help of the Kyber crystal research done by Galen Erso, Krennic was able to make progress with the project, despite his rivalry with Admiral Wilhuff Tarkin. Following the fall of the Republic, Tarkin, newly named Emperor Palpatine, and newly anointed Sith Lord Darth Vader visited the construction, in which we see the frame was complete. The project was finished by 0 BBY and was first tested on the holy city of Jeddah. However, the Rebel strike team Rogue One found the plans in the Citadel Tower on Scarif, prompting now Director Krennic to not only send his own Death Trooper squadron into battle, but for him to engage Captain Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso himself. Tarkin also heard of the battle and contacted Vader on the Devastator to meet the battle station at Scarif. While Vader dealt with the Rebel fleet, Tarkin fired the weapon on Scarif, destroying the tower and the rebels on the surface, along with Krennic. Tarkin was too late, however, because Rogue One had already transmitted the plans. Princess Leia Organa escaped the Profundities hangar in the Tantive 4 and jumped to Tatooine with the plans. The plans were placed inside the astromech droid R2-D2 and were eventually returned to the Rebel base on Yavin 4 after Luke Skywalker and Han Solo rescued the princess from the station. The Rebels launched Red and Gold Squadron to destroy the station using the weakness built into the station by Galen Erso. Luke Skywalker fired the killing blow with the assistance of Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon, destroying the station and killing Tarkin. Number 2. The Imperial 1 class Star Destroyer in Legends. The most recognizable symbol of Imperial power was the Imperial class Star Destroyer, but the earliest version of this ship was known as the Imperator class and was originally deployed by the Galactic Republic towards the end of the Clone Wars alongside the similar Tector class. The ship was designed by Kuat Drive Yards to be a massive, powerful cruiser and was deployed in limited numbers at the end of the Clone Wars. As the war drew to a close, the Imperator and Tector class production lines picked up and the older Venator production slowed down. After the rise of the Empire, the Imperator was renamed the Imperial class, and would eventually become known as the Imperial 1 class, with the introduction of the later Imperial 2 class. The most famous of the Imperial 1 class was the Devastator, which was Darth Vader's personal flagship before the completion of the Executor-class Star Dreadnought Executor. The Devastator was responsible for capturing the rebel CR-90 corvette, the Tantive 4, and nearly recapturing the plans for the first Death Star. It also saw service in Death Squadron during the Battle of Endor, being destroyed by a flight of B-Wing fighter bombers. The Devastator, like most Imperial 1s, would be refit after the Battle of Yavin, bringing them more in line with the Imperial 2 class. Besides the Republic and the Empire, the Imperial 1 class Star Destroyer saw service with the New Republic, Imperial Remnant factions, the Galactic Alliance, and the Confederation. Number 3. The All-Terrain Armored Transport in Legends. The AT-AT was a heavy walker developed as a successor to the AT-TE, and some even saw service in the First Battle of Geonosis. They were designed and assembled by Kuat Drive Yards. They were most notably deployed with the Republic during the Battle of Jabim, in which they annihilated CIS forces, but were slowed by the planet's muddy surface, making them easier targets. At one point, at least one of these walkers fell into Separatist hands, and the performance on Jabim and in similar circumstances made many commanders prefer the A5 and A6 juggernauts over walkers. With the rise of the New Order came a new generation of AT-ATs, and after the Battle of Yavin, General Maximilian Veers fully resurrected the walker design, where they were deployed in a wide variety of planets from Corellia to Chandrilla. They were most notably used during the 501st assault on Echo Base on Hoth, where General Veers and several walkers managed to destroy the Rebel Alliance shield generator, allowing Darth Vader and his stormtroopers to land and attack the base itself. They could also be seen on the forest moon of Endor. Besides the Republic and the Empire, the AT-AT was used by the CIS, Imperial Remnant factions, the New Republic, Galactic Alliance, and Darth Krayt's Galactic Empire. Number 4. The Twin Ion Engine Fighter in Legends. Designed by Republic Sinar Systems, the Twin Ion Engine Starfighter, also called the TIE Fighter, was the immediate predecessor to the TIE LN Starfighter that would become ubiquitous with the Galactic Empire. The craft was produced by Wraith Sinar's design team before 32 BBY, and this very early design proof of concept would go on to become the Scimitar, the Sith infiltrator used by Darth Maul. The next phase of production was the Advanced Project Ship, a starfighter prototype that resembled the future TIE Fighter, but was about 3 times as wide and was designed in 29 BBY. 7 years later, the Psi-TIE twin ion engine allowed Sinar to be prepared for Republic starfighter contracts after the Battle of Geonosis. The TIE series was put underway by the Republic to standardize starfighters and allow smaller Dreadnought and Carrack-class cruisers to carry their own fighter support. However, this new fighter didn't allow for hyperdrives, life support, or even shields, making it far inferior to other Republic snub fighters like the ARC-170 and Z-95 Headhunter. However, the TIE Fighter was fast, maneuverable, cheap, and could be launched from racks on converted cargo haulers. And when the Empire took over, the TIE Fighter became the standard starfighter carried by most Imperial capital ships. The TIE Fighter saw service in nearly every major engagement of the Galactic Civil War, from the Battle of Yavin to the Battle of Endor, and even long after the fall of the Empire. Besides the Republic and the Empire, the TIE Fighter saw service with the Pirates of Tarnunga, the Rebel Alliance, New Republic, almost every Imperial Remnant faction, the Galactic Alliance, Peace Brigade, and the Confederation. Number 5. The LAMBDA-class T-4C Shuttle in Legends. Developed by Sinar Fleet Systems and produced by Cygnus Spaceworks, the LAMBDA-class shuttle was a light utility craft used for military and VIP transports, and was the newest in a line of shuttle designs that included the Eta-class and Theta-class shuttles. The Lambda was designed to be a more heavily armed version of the Theta-class. The ship was first introduced in 19 BBY, at some point after the Imperial subjugation of Kashyyyk. The ship therefore did not see active service in the Clone Wars, but it would see extensive service with the Empire, alongside the Sentinel-class landing craft and the TIE VIP shuttle. However, the most famous Lambda saw service with the Rebellion, as the shuttle Tidarium was the craft that deployed General Han Solo and Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker's strike force on the forest moon of Endor to attack the second Death Star's shield generator. Besides the Republic and the Empire, the LAMBDA saw service with the Rebel Alliance, New Republic, Disciples of Ragnos, Imperial Remnant factions, Galactic Alliance, and Darth Krayt's Galactic Empire. Number 6. The All-Terrain Scout Transport in Legends. The AT-ST was developed by Quad-Drivyards at the end of the Clone Wars, and was the successor to the All-Terrain Experimental Transport, AT-XT. It had many different variants, including the Assault variant, the All-Terrain Kashyyyk Transport, AT-KT, the All-Terrain Construction Transport, AT-CT, the All-Terrain Riot Control Transport, AT-RCT, and the All-Terrain Missile Platform, AT-MP. The AT-ST was developed by Rothana Heavy Engineering, the subsidiary of Quad-Drivyards that produced many Republic walkers, as well as the Acclamator-class assault ship. The walker was deployed during the late stages of the Clone Wars, and little is known about how they were deployed, but it is reasonable to assume that they served a similar function to the AT-RT. Under the Imperial flag, they would see service on many worlds and in many climates. Some were seen on Empire Day on Naboo. They could also be seen during the 501st assault on Echo Base. They were most notably seen in action on the forest moon of Endor, where many fell victim to the tripwires of the local Ewok population. Along with the Republic and the Empire, they would see service with the Imperial Remnant factions and the New Republic. Number 7. The 74Z speeder bike in both canon and legends. The 74Z speeder bike saw service in both the Clone Wars and in the Galactic Civil War. In canon, it was known to be used by Jedi General Stas Ali during the Battle of Saleucami, before she was killed by Clone Commander Neo during Order 66. It was also known to have been used on the forest moon of Endor by Imperial scout troopers. Along with the Republic and the Empire, it was used by the Rebel Alliance and Moff Gideon's Imperial Remnant. In Legends, it was older than the Bark Speeder and saw service in the First Battle of Geonosis. The speeder could be deployed from the back of LAAT gunships in place of the AT-RT Walker. As in canon, one was used by Jedi General Stas Ali until her death at the hands of the 91st Recon Bark Troopers during Order 66. Also, as in canon, they were used by Imperial biker scouts on the forest moon of Endor. Besides the Republic and the Empire, the 74Z also saw service with the Confederacy of Independent Systems, the Rebel Alliance, and the New Republic. Number 8. The Victory-class Star Destroyer in Legends. The Victory-class Star Destroyer line was designed to be a more effective cruiser-on-cruiser warship than its predecessor, the Venator, which was a great carrier but was often insufficient when facing heavy CIS warships like the Recusant and Providence-class cruisers. The ship was produced by Quad-Drivyards, as were most of the Republic and Empire Star Destroyers, in collaboration with Rendili Star Drives. These ships were used to help defeat a Techno-Union fleet of Bulwark battlecruisers, though most Victory-class ships wouldn't be deployed until after the fall of the Republic. The Victory II was also introduced during the Clone Wars, but saw even less service. The Victory I was designed to use a heavy battery of concussion missiles, something that wasn't present on the Victory II, as it relied on the more traditional turbo-laser batteries. The introduction of the Imperial-class Star Destroyer meant that the ships of the Victory class often met an early retirement. 520 of them were sold to the Corporate Sector Authority, and the remainder, still in Imperial service, were placed in planetary defense roles. They did, however, often see service against rebel forces, and would see service through the Galactic Civil War, the Dark Empire, and the Yuuzhan Vong War. One of the most famous units of Victory Star Destroyers was the Crimson Command, under the command of Truton Teradoc, which served in the Greater Maldruud amongst other Imperial Remnant factions. Besides the Republic and the Empire, the Victory saw service with Corsac, the New Republic, Imperial Remnant factions including, but not limited to, Zinja's Empire and the Greater Maldruud, the Galactic Alliance, and the Confederation. Number 9. The Dreadnought-class Heavy Cruiser in Legends. The Dreadnought-class heavy cruiser was actually designed at least 80 years prior to the Battle of Geonosis by Rendili Star Drives for the Republic Judicial Forces. It was based on the ancient Mandalorian Kandozi-type dreadnought. The ship was effective but had several shortcomings, so the Republic worked to connect the ships via slave rigging in order to reduce the crew complement. One such fleet that utilized this tech was the Katana fleet, which due to its slave rigging was lost after a hive virus drove the crew insane, forcing them to make a blind hyperspace jump. These cruisers were also used on the Outbound Flight project. During the Clone Wars, they saw service in the battles of Duro, Rendili, and Coruscant. During the Imperial era, some were refitted with the capability to carry TIE fighters. 50 years after its loss, Grand Admiral Thrawn discovered and made off with 178 of the 200 Katana Fleet dreadnoughts and used them in his campaign against the New Republic. 6 more of these Katana Fleet dreadnoughts were used by New Republic General Garm Bel Iblis. Besides the Republic and the Empire, the dreadnought was also used by Corsac, the Sons and Daughters of Freedom, Utapau, the Confederacy of Independent Systems, the Rebel Alliance, New Republic, Thrawn's Confederation, Imperial Remnant factions, the Galactic Alliance, the Hutt Cartel, and in several planetary defense fleets, including the one over its homeworld of Rendili. It's also suspected that these ships took part in the CANON blockade over Lothal. Number 10. The Carrack-class light cruiser in Legends. The Carrack-class light cruiser was a 350-meter-long frigate deployed by the Republic during the Clone Wars. The ship came in 2 different configurations, one for anti-capital ship combat and the other for anti-starfighter, reminiscent of the Atlanta-class cruiser of the U.S. Navy during World War II. The ship was as fast as an X-Wing starfighter thanks to its 12 ion engines. The standard anti-capital ship variant was armed with 10 heavy turbo lasers, 20 ion cannons, and 5 tractor beam projectors. And the anti-starfighter line retained the 10 heavy turbo lasers and 5 tractor beams, but replaced the ion cannons with 20 laser cannons. During the Clone Wars, they were used to escort larger Dreadnought-class heavy cruisers. A group of these ships, commanded by Lieutenant Commander Lorth Nida, helped in bringing down General Grievous's flagship, the Invisible Hand, during the Battle of Coruscant. The Empire phased these ships into secondary roles as the larger Imperial-class Star Destroyers became more available, being used to patrol star systems and blockade worlds. Besides the Republic and the Empire, they saw service in the Rebel Alliance, New Republic, Galactic Alliance, Confederation, and in the hands of pirates. So there you have it, 10 Imperial vehicles that were designed or deployed by the Republic. There of course are more than 10, and this doesn't even take into consideration vehicles used by the Rebellion or vehicles left over from the CIS, but that is for another video. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.